That is for transcript purposes. This will be a 10-minute press conference. Joining us are the student athletes from Duke University, Tyrese Proctor, Kyle Filipowski, Jeremy Roach, as well as head coach John Shire. At this time, we'll turn it over to Coach Shire for his comments on the game and follow up with questions for all. Coach?
Well, congratulations to Tennessee. They played an outstanding game. They're incredibly well coached. They're tough. They've been through it before, and they made some big time plays. I'm incredibly proud of our team. We've had really a great season, and it's hard to reflect on all of that right now. In the moment, I'm hurting for these guys. They've given us everything you could ask for. They've fought through perseverance. They've fought through adversity. They've stuck together when things weren't looking as good, and came into this game one of the hottest teams in the country, and we felt like we were supposed to win this game, as did they. And really felt like a Sweet 16, Elite 8 game, type of game. It was they're really good, and credit them. They shoot almost 50 from three, and Kamala has one of his best games, maybe his best game ever, and you got to tip your hat to him. But really proud of our team and what we've done. It hurts. It stings. It's going to be that way for a while, but really proud of our guys and these guys next to me right here.
Row 3, please.
Coach, you mentioned it's tough to kind of reflect on all the success you guys had this year, but is there, looking back at it, with this group of guys, is it something that amazes you that, everything you guys have accomplished with such a young group?
I don't know if it amazes me, but I'm proud, to accomplish what we have. And these guys are champions next to me. They're ACC champions. They have 27 wins. They've had a really good year. And I think I speak for all these guys. They can tell you if they feel differently, but we expected to be in this position. That's what we wanted, and that's why these guys chose to come here. And you want to be in a position where you have a chance. We're playing to go to a Sweet 16 against a great team, and so it's hard to reflect fully right now. But I do know I'm proud. I'm grateful for these guys that they've stuck with it and they made the decision to come here and come back and all that. But it hurts in the moment right now.
Row 1.
Yeah, Kip Coons, Press Box View. John, you start Derek instead of Mark Mitchell tonight, and I assume Mitchell's not available, but Derek had probably one of your most effective offensive players in the first half, yet he does not get a shot in the second half. I wonder if you could explain what happened on offense that he was so limited.
Well, Derek's had a really good year, and he had some big shots in the first half. It was our entire offense. They credit them. They did a great job with making passes difficult. They contested. They switched a lot. It was hard to run offense. And to me, it wasn't just about Derek. It was about the shot quality that all of us were getting. Derek didn't get a shot in the game, so you have to credit them and what they did defensively. And for us on offense, I could have helped these guys more. We could have done more things to get quality looks. You have to really work. You have to work for everything in a game like this. You have to work to get open. You have to work on your drives, and that's really what it comes down to.
Row 2.
Hi, Rachel Kaplan, Duke Chronicle. Coach, so obviously Mark was out, and at least publicly that was a pretty last-minute decision. Can you talk a little bit about what it meant to kind of have just one less player in the rotation, especially in such a hard-fought game, and what that kind of did to the players and did to the pace of the game?
Well, it happened last second. Mark hurt his knee. We're not sure quite what's wrong. We need to still do some follow-ups with him, but he didn't feel great yesterday. We felt like he was going to give it a go today and try, but Mark's been a warrior for us all year. I mean, he's shown up every single day, competed every day, and right before the tip, he just didn't have the same burst. So obviously, not going to put him out there if he didn't feel great, and he didn't. So that happened late. He's been a key guy for us. He started every game. He's been, he's really the guy where he defends everybody. He's a jack of all trades. You can have anybody on the court with him. So it was a little hectic right before the game. Now also understand they're missing their starting point guard too. So that's not an excuse in any way. But for us, of course we miss Mark. Derek did a good job stepping up. He's done that throughout the year, and thought we ran out of gas down the stretch.
Row 3.
I asked Derek the same question in the locker room, and he says basketball's a game about runs. But how frustrating was it knowing that anytime you guys made a couple big shots, they'd just come back with a big three, and the cycle kept on happening and happening? Did you feel like you also had to kind of reach into a bag of tricks and try and find anything that could work?
Well, it was a disjointed game. One, we didn't have Mark right before the game. Jeremy gets 3 fouls and then his 4th pretty early. So one is trying to make sure we have as much gas in the tank as possible, but also trying to protect him. We need him in the game. And so we went zone. That's not something we do a lot of. But really trying to protect the paint. Credit them. That's where they hit some threes. They haven't been a great shooting team like that, but they made us pay for that tonight. And you're not gonna. The first game that we had, it's not gonna be that way most of the time. It's gonna be back and forth in a game of runs. They made a couple more than we did.
To the back.
Alec from UCF. This is for Coach. How much did early foul trouble affect the game plan?
Well, it wasn't ideal. That's part of how it goes. They did a great job of attacking the basket. Thought we probably settled a little too much in the first half, but look, if Jeremy getting fouls, Flip, any of these guys next to me, that's a big deal. And we still played those guys, and they did a good job playing through it. But you end up managing the game as opposed to being really aggressive and instinctive, which is what we've done a great job of doing.
To the back.
Cody Taylor, USA Today. Tyrese, obviously today wasn't what you wanted, but to go up against, we just talked to Santiago, to go up against him, 2 NBA Academy guys, just, how cool was that to kind of go up against him on this stage?
Yeah, obviously pretty cool. Lived with him for a while when he came over to the academy, and it's just good matching up with him again back on the big stage.
Row 2.
Wes Rucker, 24/7 Sports. This is for Kyle. I know that even on a short turnaround, y'all get a chance to watch film and do scouting, and you've played the schedule that you played this year. How did Tennessee's physicality compared to maybe some of those Purdue's and Virginia's and other kind of physical teams you've played?
Yeah, we weren't really at our best when we played Purdue. That was in the beginning of the season, but aside from Purdue, I'd probably say that Tennessee was the next, if not the most physical team that we played all year. Aside from all of the conference games. That's no hit on any of the teams we've played. That was just saying how physical Tennessee was today.
Row 3, please.
Hi, it's Adam Rowe, 24/7 Sports. This question is for Jeremy mostly, but the other guys too. How does a loss like this in the NCAA tournament, after going on a 10-game winning streak, compare to maybe last year, and what kind of fuel will that bring to your fire in the off season?
It hurt. We're not gonna talk about last season, whatever. Obviously we wanted to make it as far as we could, but it happens. It's March. It's a 1-game season. I'm just proud of these guys for fighting through everything that we've been through, injuries, losses, tough losses, and we just kept battling adversity, staying the course, so I'm just proud of these people.
Justin Deegan, Orange Blossom Sports. This is a question for Jeremy. Kind of to build off of that, being one of the eldest in the locker room, what are you going to be telling the guys in the locker room when you go back there, the younger guys, about how to kind of regroup from this and attack next season?
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. We just lost a March Madness game, but come back to work. The work never stops. That's really it. The work never stops. Stay the course. Keep your head high. We got to be proud of this season. Obviously, like you said, ACC champs. 1 game away from being co-regular season. So we had a hell of a season. It's something to be proud of.
We'll take a question from one of our Zoom attendees, Dan Tortora.
Coach, for you this season, what has been the most rewarding part of the season? And to the student athletes, that same question. I know it's a tough day, but what's been most rewarding about this year?
I don't think it's even close for me. I mean, it's seeing these guys grow as players, as people, seeing our team do the same thing. I felt like we made huge strides from November to now. I mean, I think our team is night and day, and we ran into the wrong team on the wrong day. I mean, they outplayed us today, and you have to credit them, but I felt like we could play with anybody in the country. And that's, for me, by far the most rewarding thing. Like, to represent the school where I played, where I've coached for the last 9 years has meant the world. And, I'm just proud of these guys for what they've done.
Row 2.
Wes Rucker, 24/7 Sports. This is a question for John. Olivier Comeau's had a couple of games this year, maybe 4 or 5, where he's done something like this, and then there have been some 2-point, 4-point, 5-point games. What was the scouting report on him? Was there a way to try to just, contain what he does or make sure he doesn't have one of those kind of games?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's been a really good player. He hasn't been the leading scorer. Vescovi's a key guy. He draws a lot of attention, the way he moves and cuts without the ball, and they set hard screens for him. And so the Comeau, credit him. I thought he hit some really tough shots. There's some contested shots in the paint. He hit 3 threes. I don't know if he's hit 3 threes, but he's obviously worked and an experienced player. So you got to give him all the credit in the world. Thought he played a great game. But sometimes that happens, unfortunately. A player rises to the occasion, and you have to give him credit.
Final question will be from a Zoom attendee. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, this is Chris Heidel from Herbertson Radio in Baltimore. I'm sorry for the loss today. This question is for Coach John. Coach, what did you see during this game that you may want to work on for next year, or is there something that you could work on to improve to move on?
Well, obviously, there's a lot that we can do better. I'm not even close to being there with thinking about next year. I'll obviously evaluate this afterwards. I'm going to watch this game. I have to watch this game and think about how I could have helped these guys better, things we could have done. But sometimes that's how the game goes. I don't want to over evaluate it either. And we were right there. You have to hit a few more shots and get a few more rebounds, and this game is fragile. So anyway, I could answer that question at a later time, but I just want to say again how proud I am of these guys right here and what they've done and will continue to do.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.